One thing that can bring you a lot of peace when divorcing that narcissist is the idea that your children are going to be okay now. They will have a better future. They'll be calmer. They will have a chance at living a healed life. But then your expectations are shattered when things are turned against you and you see the children being nice to that narcissistic parent and unkind to you. When they are with them, they're okay, they're kind, almost trying to please the narcissist. But when they're with you, they're throwing tantrums. They're really angry, they're crying. It's extremely difficult. You can't communicate at all. And that makes you question your own behavior. That makes you think maybe I'm the narcissist. Maybe I'm causing them some kind of invisible harm. Maybe I'm not treating them the right way. But what if I told you that's not the case? There is a reason why they throw tantrums when around you. Let me reveal that reason to you in this episode. I am Danish, a psychologist, a trauma therapist, and a narcissistic abuse recovery professional. The topic for today's episode is why your child misbehaves when with you but is kind to the narcissist. Around the narcissist, your kids feel really unsafe to express their true emotions. Why? Because they are met with criticism, harsh attitude, authoritarian or authoritative approach. They are never allowed to be kids. They're forced to grow up really quickly because they have to walk on eggshells around this monstrous person. They have to keep adapting. And one of those adaptations they display is called fawning. You may have heard of it. It's a trauma response. When is fawning? Fawning is when you just try to people please that person, when you try to give them what they want in the hopes of being left alone. When around that narcissist, your kids will be on their best behavior, not because they actually love them or they have been manipulated. No, kids are really intelligent. They know what's going on. They may not be able to verbalize it, but they know emotionally, psychologically, as well as physically, because their body gives them a lot of feedback. They feel, I know this, well, that's how I acted all the time around my father. I could not speak what I wanted to speak. I only said what I knew would please him or what he wanted to hear from me. I would be compliant, totally subservient, giving, obedient, and never ever saying no. Afraid of him, terrified of him. I was in a lot of pain constantly, and I knew if I expressed my true self just a little, I'll get shamed. I'll be belittled, and he will emasculate me immediately because he was jealous of my capabilities. So I had to become a very different version of myself so that I hide behind that shield, that mask. I was interacting with the mask. So when you're dealing with fake, what do? You just give them what they want so that they leave you alone. So this is the reason why your children have to fawn. And yes, there is a part of manipulation in all of this. They are being constantly poisoned against you. That's true. But a major part is fawning. You need to understand nervous system gets really stuck in a state of immobilization. In the terms of polyvagal theory, we call it dorsal vagal activation, the part of the nervous system that triggers freeze, collapse, and they just fawn, they give in. But when these same children are with you, and this is very interesting, they feel safe. They feel really safe to be themselves. And what do you do when you feel safe? You just express whatever you have not been able to express for days. And in their case, it is anger. Yes, they fawn. They do what they're expected to do, but at the expense of their own autonomy and freedom. And we do not like our freedom to be taken away. We feel angry. When they are with you, they just take it out. Unfortunately, that is the only outlet for them. So next time your child is angry after coming back from that narcissistic parent, take a step back and ask yourself, what is actually going on here? What if I don't need to react? What if I do not need to discipline them? What if I don't need to punish them? What if I don't need to ground this little human being? What if I hold space and get attuned with their nervous system, which means sit down, look them in their eyes, make eye contact, hug them, or offer them different ways to process their big emotions. Little human beings, big emotions. And then let them do what they want to do. If they are showing a lot of physical aggression, maybe take them to boxing classes if possible. Take them to a rage room. If there is a lot of sadness and they are crying all the time, instead of asking them to stop crying or distracting them, explore these emotions. One simple exercise is you can just sit together, each other, and keep a glass of water in the middle. Then guide the child to imagine giving all of those heavy emotions to that water while you do the same thing. And then you help them drain that water away. That is how they will be able to let go of emotions. See what I'm suggesting? But the key point is when they are with you from a nervous system perspective, what happens at a neurobiological level is they come out of that dorsal vagal activation and shift into what's called a sympathetic activation, fight, flight response, immobilization to mobilization. It's exactly like a traffic light. You have red, then you have yellow, and then you have green. Before they go to green, they have to go through yellow. So that yellow part is where the he expresses rage or a lot of hyperactivity, which is also misunderstood as ADHD. It is suppressed survival energy, which they are expressing through that restlessness. What do you do? How do you deal with that? You hold space for that as well, and you don't judge them for it. And you help them find ways to relax because they need to collapse after that. Once they move past the yellow stage, they move into what is called the green, called ventral vagal activation. Ventral vagal activation is where they take in cues of co-regulation or feel safe with you in your companionship and let go of those barriers. They feel there is no need to keep putting on an act or to keep fawning. So I will be me. That's when they will want to play with you. That's when they will want to talk to you, open up to you, and tell you what's actually been bothering them. And that's why patience is extremely important. So, in conclusion, it's not that they're turning narcissistic. Yes, observational learning is a part of our development, but that's not what's going on here. It is the traumatization of the nervous system. The nervous system gets stuck in freeze collapse and they are able to mobilize that energy. When with you, they take it out because they feel safe. You need to remember that because that will help you be really compassionate towards them and towards yourself. With that, let's bring this episode to an end. Thank you so much for listening. I will talk to you in the next one. Until then, as always, let the healing begin and continue.